Well, today is the 7th of September 2020. Today we're going to start called The Story of the World, a textbook. Oh, look at the subtitle, interesting. History for the Classical Child. So you finish this, you're going to be classical child. Okay, so I don't know. I think the background, Noah, do you have anything about the classical child, what it means?
The first thing that comes to mind has something to do with maybe the classical form of education.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey Noah, you come here, let me see there. So,
Okay.
yeah. Now, about the classical education, what do you think about the classical education?
I think it's
Okay.
very effective, but the roots of the
Let's not use our opinion. Let's do information today. Okay, we're going to do more information discussion until allowed. So, Naomi, we're going to do a research on Wikipedia about the classical education, what it means.
you have a device.
Computer or device. Yeah. Okay, everybody have your phone with you. I want you to download an app called
What am I looking up again?
called Classical Education. Classical Education. Write that term down. You're going to read on this subject called Classical Education. I'm going to be very, maybe instructive about my teaching with you. So, education, I will teach you more than, it's okay. It's more than, the way I'm going to teach you is more than this information. I'm going to teach you how to learn of things, okay, in the process. So, the term in Wikipedia on the term classical education actually is a historical phenomenon. It's actually is a movement in the Western world, actually popularized more in the British history. You guys are more serious. I'm so sorry. So I tune you down a little bit. But in British is educated, like that. You guys aware, Brother David Prince, you guys heard his teaching, right? So he's a good example of classical education and learn certain languages. What language are they? These languages.
I guess like a classical, is Latin one of them? And
Latin,
like
yeah.
French, kind of just
Greek, not French.
Greek, yeah. Greek and Latin. Sorry.
Yeah. So when you have somebody teach you rather than you study yourself, it might be, you're going to show a face like a Esther face right now. So we're serious, don't know what to do. So don't have to be like that, okay? But it take a little bit. Some other going to inform you, to discuss with you, dictate the flow of your study. So note taking, ask questions, those are necessary. Okay, so. Classical education is a movement. Let's read on this portion. Are you guys in the called Wikipedia? When you download, go to Apple Store. If you can, ask your parents for approval to get called Wikipedia, that app up.
We can't.
You can?
Yeah, because apparently it's for 17 and up.
Okay, then get your parents get a permission to download that app called Wikipedia. Okay, so okay.
I'll ask my dad.
Yeah, exactly. If you can get it, it's online, so you can go to Wikipedia.com anytime. So go to your Safari, Wikipedia.com. Got it? Okay. In the app, you will see there's a search box here. Yeah. Click on that. Type in classical education. Okay, then you can see called the classical education movement. That's the one you want to click on. Okay, we're going to be very fast here. The browse through, you're going to learn with me reading very fast. So, Noah, can you read it for us very fast? Okay, so from the beginning. So,
The classical education movement is a form of education that emphasizes history, literature, and language studies within a modern school framework. The term classical education has been used in Western culture for several centuries, with each era modifying the definition and adding its own selection of topics.
see.
By the end of the 18th century, in addition to the trivium and quadrivium of the Middle Ages, the definition of classical education embraced study of literature, poetry, drama, philosophy, history, art, and languages. Want me to continue?
Yes.
In the 20th and 21st centuries, it has been used to refer to a broad-based study of the liberal arts and sciences as opposed to a practical or pre-professional program. There are a number of informal groups and professional organizations which have led the classical education movement in the past century within a secular
It's
classical
okay
movement.
there. We can move on there. See, let's turn to the second portion. There's three phases of modern education linked to classical education. And let me read it very fast from the beginning. The three categories only.
The phrases of modern education.
The three dots there. So
Start at where it says primary education.
Oh, wow. Primary education teaches students how to learn. Secondary education then teaches a conceptual
related concept. Yeah.
framework that can hold all human knowledge, history, fills in basic facts and practices of major fields of knowledge, and develops the fundamental skills, perhaps in a simplified form, of every major human activity.
Tertiary.
Tertiary education then prepares a person to pursue an educated profession such as law, theology, military strategy, medicine, or science.
So those are the ways, and in the old times, especially prior to the last century, people have a learning process as well. They have a schooling system, and once there is a primary school, that's where primary school came from. Secondary school, that's where secondary from. There is this high school basically. That's where those information came from. Now you understand where it came from. You can see the teacher one subject. Let's look at the primary education. You have grammar, you have logic, you have rhetoric. Second education, I don't know exactly what is the history begins incorporating secondary education, right? So now, anyway, this will give you a little bit of framework for the classical education. When you turn to the next point, kind of modern interpretation of classical education. So there's a Christian education, secular education. I think that's the one where it came from, this textbook. The secular education, classical child means you educated by this framework of education. Make sense to you? So there are Catholic education. Again, they see there are different school system give you different education. I don't know which this system came from, but you understand the design. There is a methodology or the philosophy behind this textbook design. That's where it came from. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is evidently we're going to not necessarily always formulate our teaching time, even the information might be used to look at the history. I'm going to involve some particular discussions if allowed. And but I want to talk about the history itself, to how to look at the history. So we have been, all of you guys are good students, I believe. Hope you are. A Bible history, a biblical history. So now, what's a distinct characteristic of biblical history. I'm gonna query you guys. Give first your comments, very short comments. What's your impression? The way how biblical history present to you, how you have benefited by it.
Well, to put it most simply, I think it has two primary benefits. The first and most important being is being a more informed, to give birth to a more informed idea of what God's purpose is, which is, of course, the primary goal of my dad in teaching, going through the Bible.
Yeah.
And then another more inferior but still important thing that I take from reading the scriptures is things that kind of teach you, I think, how to think. It forms your perspective and also has some moral applicants as well.
Yeah. Go ahead. I hear you. Yeah.
Which is, I think, many times what the Bible is used for is like almost like this moral guide. Many times, that's what Dad mentions. Is things are often overemphasized in that regard. So it's primarily seen as a book of a moral code.
Yeah. Well, we need to turn off your phone when we're on classes. So turn off the alarm, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure why did I on silent.
No problem, we're going to happen. We started everything new, so we're going to continue to fly the rules on the fly.
Adjust.
I'm going to teach you how you look back at each other, so something like that. I'm just a joke. Go ahead.
Oh, that's really how I have those two primary points.
Okay. Esther, your turn.
So the question is how.
You learn history from the study of the Bible, and right, there's some way it presents to you that different kind of history, maybe, so, and what a benefit you had those education or those information.
Well, I would just say throughout reading, like you're saying, throughout meetings we've had and just reading.
In general.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just like learning God's way and throughout the meetings and showing like a way of life yeah.
So.
History, speaking, zooming in the keyword history there, you feel there is a way certain, like in the past, stories of human life being presented to you, right? There's some different perspective applied, and right? So we just try to sort that out from you. So go ahead.
Through even the meetings we on Wednesday, it's very interesting to see what happened in the lives before us and what you can learn from that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how you can see like different principles that God did through the people's lives.
Give me one.
And I mean, let's see. That's a good one. Through
That's okay. There lies the thinking, right?
Yeah.
We want to know when we use words like principles, we need to know there are things included in it, right? So in a way that in the future you can learn to really be solid with you when you conclude something, you speak something. You want it to be really solid. I'm not criticizing anybody. Okay, that's the purpose of education. So there's two kinds of students. It's continue to fly over as much as they can. It's, as long as the teacher can hear me and doing. But when the teacher like me can zoom in and say, okay, do you know what you're really talking about? I'm sorry, repeating sound critical, but there the difference begin to show whether students really knowing and grasp the thing he learned or not. So the difference begin to show. Now, I know this is very strange for a 13 years old like Esther, so it's new to you. But Noah has spent some years time with me. He's more familiar with the way of approaching things. For you guys might be strange, although occasionally be strange. You never been in a setting like this, maybe, so get used to it in a sense. Okay, so relax. Okay, so when you for sure are not able to answer a question, that's a good place to start. So we know we can learn to modify ourselves and improve ourselves. Make it sense to you? So yeah, go ahead, answer the questions as well. So
Well, I think for that question, throughout the studies we've had, like Tuesday meetings, Sunday, and especially Wednesday, I'm going just directly from the Bible.
yeah,
And all the other times. But it kind of seems like there's two different ways to look at the Bible. For the way you're talking about looking at it from a historical way point of view, and then there's a different point of view where you're doing exact like spiritual principles from like just almost digging deeper into the words instead of just looking at the historical accounts that in like a almost more educational way and different educational way. But yeah, it has been very beneficial, especially in different things like Wednesday meeting, just how different things, so you can just look at the Bible and you can see stuff and read it, but there's so much more meaning, and there's just been a lot of things that have been uncovered in that meeting and throughout a lot of different things through the Bible than just what you see just at first glance.
Bless the Lord. Now, I think mine heard he's going to give us further comments on how to learn history a little bit. So you might want to take some notes with the key points I'm going to present. I don't have a before me, okay? So it's going to be on the fly. So, sorry. But so like you learn any subject, you know, for example, you're going to, during the day, you're going to be interested in reading different things, am I right? So, and for different purposes, you know, when you learn cook food, you're going to learn how food material goes, how the cooking process goes, am I right? So because you want to produce a good meal for yourself. So in learning anything, eventually you have a goal. Even you're not aware or articulate that goal, you're going to say, this is why I'm learning what I'm learning. You know, some are just broadening your horizon of mind and knowledge, you know, so some are more, okay, I'm going to become a different person, modify my character, improve my intelligence, deepen my wisdom by learning certain things, which is interesting. Noah has really, you know, making leap bounds in terms of learning things. Sometimes, again, you know, like cooking, more practical. I just want to do something to learn certain things. History, the topic history, evidently, is different than learning cooking, right? So it's more carries a philosophical too, you know, kind of carry certain more immaterial side of acquired knowledge. Now, one of the big statements you might have heard many times, every history teacher will tell you, you want to know the present, know the future of yourself in the context of the society or the generation you are by learning the lesson from the past. We Chinese have called 以史为鉴, means use history as a mirror. You know, look at it as a mirror of the past, try to diagnose the problem today, and try to envision or design a better approach, a better solution for the future. You know, so for example, Naomi stumbled at a certain curve when you're walking in the trail 3 times. You know, if you done that, you know, in 3 times, let's see, you done it, you know, you don't want to hurt yourself anymore. Amen. Hallelujah. You know, in the daytime you did that. Now this time you determined, you said, you know, I'm going to be in the dark. There's not much light going on, but I'm going through the same curve. What are you going to do, Naomi? Naturally said, well, I fall down this place 3 times. So I'm not going to fall the fourth time, right? Especially when it's dark, it's more dangerous than daytime. You know, if daytime are tripped over this, what about nighttime? So you pay special attention to it. So history, you can see certain things happen more than 3 times, many times, repeatedly mankind without God or something with God, they repeat a certain pattern. So one of the goals is learning from history, is that Naomi said, principles. You know, you learn certain principles, certain ways, as you said, certain ways. Esther identified the keyword called the ways of life, you know, ways of life. But no one's talking about the purpose of God through human history. That's a biblical history, really can well inform us. But when you have a book like a classical education kind of thing, they don't speak to those things very well for you. In this kind of books, most likely they just present the information to you. They don't apply lessons, they don't apply kind of explicit viewpoints. Said this is why it happened, this is what we do with this events or this portion of history from mankind. Am I making sense to you? But the writer of the book or the educator of this information, they actually have a mindset behind it. They intended to selectively for the dividing the period of history, include certain events, presented the events in a certain light, am I? So they actually have an overall view. And that, in our case, it might be different than the authors of the Bible or the teacher of the Bible. That word we call secular. In your education, you know, this actually identifies secular. Am I? It's not Christian teaching. It's basically not biblical. We look at history. Now, we're going to identify those things, point them out. No one hold out your hand and pray for me. So, yeah, read this.
Lord, I do pray right now in Jesus' name that if there's any, Lord, disturbing or distracting influence over our brother Emmanuel,
You hold out your right hand and say to pray.
Lord, I pray that it would be done away with in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Lord, that your Spirit would preside over and within us, Lord, to cause any other influence to flee away. So, Lord, we declare these things, Lord, and pray them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Now let me back to how to look at history. So that's one thing we need to be aware is how this textbook is going to be used. Okay, the material being used. The second one, more talking about zooming in, the biblical view of a whole look at history might be new information to you. I want to introduce the 2 words in looking at history called chronos and kairos moment. Chronos in English would be gradual, gradual transition. Things are more like a building up, There's not too much dramatic changes, radical reformation things, or even use the word called eruption of things, so revolution of things. Making sense to you? So, chronos. You can write that word, ask your dad, and do a study of the word called chronos.
How's it spelled?
Chronos, I think. And then kairos, I think kairos, Kiaros. I'm not so sure of the spelling, so ask your dad for that. He will give you some information. The second is kairos. Kairos is exactly the opposite. Not really. Just putting the context pair together. Chronos is where the word chronology came from. We have the Bible, we have a chapter called the Chronicles, am I right? First Chronicles, Second Chronicles. It's basically a timeline of things, so more things, just one event and others, just pace it out in a sense. But Kairos moment oftentimes is a time of a dramatic change. If I can tell you something, you have as anything about diamond, Esther? Diamond, what it made of?
I actually don't know.
Yeah, diamond what it made. Okay, diamond is so shiny, beautiful, it's colorful, right? There's no black color or whatever, right? So now, do you know diamond is the same material as coal? No. Coal, have no idea. Okay, good. Okay, learn a little bit diamond where it came from. Now, the same material, the composition, dig down, diamond is the same as coal, the same material. But diamond was put on the heat, the coal put on the heat and great pressure. As the composition of this material, the same material began to go through transformations. Then suddenly there's a moment those composition begin to come to a certain shift. Because under pressure heat is always take this form, this transition. Inevitably. That's why you can manufacture diamond, or the non-natural diamond. You can manufacture, copy the process, and make from coal, beautiful diamond. Now coal, coal, right? It's very sturdy, right? You can crack it any time. I mean, it's a black, man. So you answer my point. Anyway. So from that material to a diamond, what happened? It was a gradual, long time for that same amount of coal to be pressed, to be heated up, to pressure for a long, long time until there's a moment. And that moment took place, suddenly this thing, definitely changed from a scattered coal, compressed together, we'll see a heated spot, right? Heated mass, basically. Suddenly take shape. Suddenly turn to the most formidable stone. It's a stone. It can withstand cold, withstand pressure. Diamond is the most formidable elements you can use to almost like cut anything, right? You can think about how much pressure has been added to it for its be formed. It can withstand great pressure, it can stand with great heat. Cannot easily be dissolved. While it comes out of pressure, transformed by pressure, and transformed by that heat, the combination of it. Now, in everything that is changeable in general terms, there is this process and transformation. In human history, the same, you can see it. It's a principle. So when you identify this principle, you look at human history from a totally different point of view. You're not looking at the diversity of different culture, different peoples. You don't look at the scattered events as if there is no undergirding purpose. And you then see some dramatic moments or sudden, we call literally history called the revolutions, where America came from as a nation. From a gradual transformation on a revolution. Esther, from a revolution on a gradual transformation. What is American founding came from?
Wait, repeat that, sorry?
What is American the nation from? Can you rephrase that question for me too?
He's asking the America, the United States as a nation, where has it come via or through a radical revolution or transformation, or a gradual thing that went over many years of time? Just think of the Revolutionary War. That'll give you a hint. Was it a revolution or a gradual transformation?
It was a gradual transformation, right?
No, a revolution. And that was revolutionary, which means it happened in a short span of time. It was a big event, almost.
Hey, here you go, Esther. This information might be new. You have not learned your age. You're going to stumble all over. Okay, during the process, maybe don't feel bad about yourself. Okay, so you're going to learn very quickly. But Naomi, is it from a revolution or the gradual transformation?
Revolution.
Oh, actually, the two.
Yep, that's right. That's what I was thinking. It's both.
I was thinking, first I was thinking, well, I was going to say the same thing as Esther.
Yeah, something like Esther.
Yeah, so-
Which is
Gradually.
gradually.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we are the two. Tell me why is the two? Any understanding?
Because when different people from like people who started settling there,
Yeah.
like after the Native Americans, like Jamestown,
Sure,
and other people,
Yeah.
things were already being established and coming over gradually.
Yeah.
And then stuff started happening,
Yes.
and then it was all changed into.
Bring this boiling moment.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
It
only
only takes a few
colonies.
seconds from the water to go from still to boiling, but it does take a while.
There
for
you
the
go.
heat to-
It'll heat it up. That's a good example as well. So just use that as an example. Look at history. Then you know the historians often look at not the gradual changes. They look at it from what? From events, the dramatic events. Some will try to diagnose this, this events, why it takes place, why it will bring this point. But actually history is, especially your textbook, will not talk too much about the things. So, for you to really be a good student in history, you can't be a student merely the chronicle of events. You got to be a good historian to know what context or process lead to that events. Those are things you yourself in the growing years going to learn. So you be a avid history student, and you're going to have to think about those things. So I don't want you to also miss that chronicle events are markedly important in human history. There's like a signpost of things that has been and things start with. So when we look at the books like this, for example, they use two special events to chronicle like the period they called. Let's look at called volume 3. You guys already went through 1 and 2?
I think I'm the only one who's read that entire book.
Oh,
He's talking about the earlier volumes.
the early volumes, yeah.
I think we went over those a long
When the
time
government
ago.
said, okay. So from Elizabeth the First, Elizabeth is if you will, the great queen who really laid the foundation of the British Empire. You know anything about the British Empire? We'll talk about that. So,
Yeah.
And the 49, what are the 49ers?
Gold rushers.
Go
Like
Russians.
California.
That's where it came from, right? It went from Ardennes, where we live, actually. So,
Yeah.
Georgetown. Remember Ardennes, this little town? Yeah, in the same little town, there were gold miner. And then the 49ers. So, it's interesting, okay. Elizabeth the First. Who is Elizabeth the First? Somebody tell me.
The Queen of England.
Queen of England. In what year is the reign? Her reign, sorry.
I don't know the exact year.
Right. That's historical information
You
now. You
I
don't
don't know
know.
exactly. It's going to be somewhere
Okay.
17.
either in the late 1500s or
Who
early
is
1600s.
Francis Bacon?
What do you mean?
Who is Francis Bacon?
Wait, his
He's read-
position then?
Yeah.
Oh,
He serves under Elizabeth the First.
yeah, part of the time, yeah.
So you know his life, you
Yeah.
know her time, right? So.
Elizabeth I is she's one of the children of Henry VIII, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
true. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and Bloody Mary as well. So
After Bloody Mary was queen, then Elizabeth came in. Yeah.
Exactly. Now you guys know a lot more than me. So, yeah.
Well, not really. We don't know the specifics, I guess.
Okay, let's look at begin to look at chapter 1. First, I want to look and all. I read book differently. Forgive me if I'm not well prepared for this thing. So we can see first introduction 11. Good. Let's do the introduction. Okay. Today's introduction. So where's introduction? Oh, that's good. Okay. I'm going to read this introduction with you. Introduction: explore, discover, treasure beneath mountain rocks. Pirates roam the seas. Kings huddle on their thrones, hoping that they will keep their crowns and their heads. And adventurers sail around the world on tiny wooden ships, risking starvation and treasure seas to find the strange new lands. Can you tell me one of those adventures?
Like on a boat?
Yeah, on a boat.
Christopher Columbus.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Good.
She just called the Mayflower the cauliflower.
Oh yeah, a cauliflower. Okay. Good. The cauliflower thing. Before you read these stories, you need to know a little bit about the world where they happened. The adventurers who sailed the sea in the year 600 knew that a huge ocean divided countries from each other, but they did not know just how huge those oceans are. Wow. So, can you believe that, Esther? You come out with a little boat like that.
You have no idea.
No idea where you're going again. Huh?
Yep.
Pretty crazy, huh?
I don't think I'd really want to do that.
You will never do that. Not Naomi. Maybe Elijah will do that. Just,
Everything's unexplored.
exactly. There you go. Today we know that water covers almost 3/4 of the Earth's surface. Wow. Can you believe that? 3/4, okay? Geographers divide all this water into 5 oceans. Let's count them. What those 5 oceans are? Esther, what those oceans are? You must know this one.
Fire oceans?
5 oceans.
Oh, fine.
Come on,
I'm sorry.
You memorized it.
Trying to do that.
Yeah.
The 5 oceans?
Yeah.
There's 2 Pacific Oceans.
2 Pacific oceans?
Wait, no, not
5.
Atlantic. No, not
Atlantic.
Atlantic.
And
Wait,
Not Atlantic. Arctic.
no. I was just reading through my cards, and it was saying 2 sides on the Pacific, and then there's an Atlantic, an Indian
Indian
Ocean.
Oh, that's very good.
Got the Arctic Ocean.
And Southern Ocean. There's called the Southern Ocean.
Oh,
Yeah.
South what?
Southern.
Southern?
Southern. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
That's my English, how far it goes. So, okay. Always correct my pronunciation, okay? Do it again. Southern?
Southern.
Okay. Look at me like a sardine. Yeah. Sardine Ocean. Okay, let's go on. The Pacific is the largest of all. Now we facing Pacific, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah.
what about Boston? Boston is around the Atlantic, right? So, yeah. Okay. What about Australia? Tough one.
That'd be
Atlantic, right?
no, that'd be more
Southern.
Yeah,
Southern?
Indian, right? Indian Southern, yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's think about it.
Right there.
Indian started the Bengal. I have no idea what that is. The Atlantic Ocean is always in motion. That's interesting. There's a poem a little bit here. Here's a limerick, to help you remember them. The Pacific is the largest of all. The Indian Star is the Bengal. The Atlantic Ocean is always in motion. The Arctic and Southern are small. Between and around those oceans lies large continents or masses of land. We divide the Earth's dry land into 7 continents. You do the first one.
North America.
South America. Wait, the 7 continents?
7 continents. My English so bad to you?
No,
I feel so defeated.
No,
I've only gotten 2.
Yeah.
I just needed it.
Go ahead. You do too. Africa.
3.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What? Why do I forget this?
North-
Antarctica. Australia.
Antarctica. That's right.
Antarctica, Australia. There.
Okay, everybody got to know this. Or else you can't pass the
No, I was
test,
wondering-
man.
I was wondering if
You
that's
guys don't
forgetting
even know the
me.
oceans, the continents. Are you kidding me?
I know.
Bad students. Seriously. Bad student like I was.
Russia.
Russia is
Russia's
a
not a
continent?
Never mind. I don't know why I said that.
Asia.
Asia.
Asia. Yeah. Okay, let's start with Noah. So he give you some good answers. Let's hope he do it.
Did we do Africa yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. I haven't done this in a long time. So we have North America, South America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, Asia. Is not Europe.
Yeah, because I
You know what?
You
You know
don't
what?
even know
No, look,
Russia is a continent. Give me a break, you
Look,
guys.
this is why. Because when I think of continent, I think of a massive land, and Asia and Europe are like kind of mixed with each
Eurasia, because of Eurasia. Okay.
other. Yeah.
Whatever.
I got it though. I still got it.
You got it? Okay, Naomi, your turn.
Oh,
Make it follow that. Until you do this, you cannot have
North
lunch.
America. Oh no.
Yeah,
North
absolutely.
America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia,
I'm impressed now.
Australia.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Oh my goodness, which one is
Did you do Antarctica?
Antarctica.
Okay.
I thought you. I don't know
You
if
follow the exact order. That's why I'm impressed. The exact order in the text and stuff.
Okay. South America, North America, Europe, Asia, Antarctica. Oh. What? Did I just say Europe? Okay.
You do.
Well, it's gonna be easier for me because I don't know.
Did I say Asia?
Yeah, now see Asia. So the last one.
Man.
Not a continent.
Do it again. Count
it's a clue.
your finger. Use your finger to count.
North America, South America, Europe, right? Hide the bottom.
Oh, more.
I wasn't even looking. Europe, Asia,
Just leave it.
Antarctica. I can't think of the 2 rest. Africa.
There.
Oh.
You're missing.
Oh.
We'll do that with
Australia.
Oh, there you go. That's good. Good hand.
Look at South America,
Well, good girl.
Europe, Asia,
Asia,
Africa,
Africa.
Antarctica, Australia.
Wow. It's pretty smart.
Well, I was
Listen
it was easy for me. I was listening to y'all.
Oh, you think so? Okay. Look at the large globe while you read the poem and move your finger along the pen where the poem describes. Forget about that, but read the poem, folks.
Is it right here?
The poem, yes, that's it. That's the poem. Yeah.
Start at Antarctica,
South.
way down south.
Okay, let's imagine you have a world map before you, okay? Start with Antarctica. Okay, it's about
Way down south.
Okay.
Okay.
A cold and icy spot. Head north to Australia,
Australia.
where the sun shines bright and hot.
Okay.
Keep going north across the ocean till you reach the land. Now you're in Asia, where you'll find both ice and desert sand.
That's so sad, man.
Turn west, and Europe's mountains will still loom up into view. In Europe, you'll find Greeks, Germans, and French, and Spanish too. Go south from Europe, and you'll soon reach the jungles and wide plains. Zebras graze in Africa. The lions shake their manes. Now follow the equator west to the South American shores. You might see llamas here, along with jaguars and condors. Go across the Central Bridge, the land of beneath the sun. You'll be in North America, and your content trip is done.
What?
Continent.
Trip?
Continental.
Continental trip is done. Be a continental man, okay?
I just like
Or
to have
woman.
a word of the day.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's enough fun for today. I hope you. Well, it's only 11:48, so you're good turn. You still can have your lunch. So.
That was good.
Yeah. So let's just do a recap. Somebody, each one, you're going to take turn to the recap. Okay? The lesson learned, you're going to do a little bit recap. There you go. This is best to learn. Yeah.
Maybe I should have
Take a turn, take a recap. Today we're going to try on Esther first. And with the ones who totally, that's why we're going to try.
Okay.
Okay.
So just a recap of
Uh-huh.
what we just did.
What we did.
So when we started, we were going through classical education,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, let's see. Well, you were saying stuff about a movement,
Classical education
yeah,
movement.
yeah.
Yeah. Started
and
many
then,
centuries ago. Am I right? So,
Yeah. And then we're going through beneficial, what you learned through history
Benefits
in the
of
Bible.
biblical education.
Yeah, and then we went through having goals of improving your knowledge and
Widen your
yeah,
horizon. Yeah.
and then
Brighten your mind.
how history repeats itself and using history as a mirror, learning
Oh, wow.
certain
I'm
principles.
impressed by you, Esther. She knows everything important. That's impressive. You're only 13 years old? That's amazing.
And then
Good learner.
we're supposed to look up Chronos and Kairos.
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 Kairos. Now, what the Kairos means, zoom in a little bit, use your own word, describe it.
Well, I actually,
Don't quite understand.
yeah, I don't. I was saying that I'm probably gonna look it
Use the
up.
word gradual transition.
Yeah.
Okay? Gradual transition. Gradual transformation or sudden transformation is a better word to directly describe a chronos moment, chronos change or kairos change. Those are just Greek words we use, but they use in the biblical context. That's why we borrowed it. So, but if you look at history, there are always a building up, leading to some events that were meaningful. Right? So, for example, let's just see. Columbia, the guy who sailed the ocean, he didn't just decide one day, wake up, said, "Hey, I'm going to sail out the ocean because I'm an adventurer." Right? So, he has carried on a long desire of the people and long line of knowledge leading to him to be able to have that passion and zeal to do it, right? So
To be able to find a path to
exactly
Asia.
have the technology that leading to all that. That's a lot of things involved for that man to set a voyage to search out the unknown world, right? So now, if you understand the man's life like that, you said, that Columbia life, how about my own life? My decision, my environment, maybe not, maybe your own, your product of your time, right? In a sense. I'm not saying that you have to become 5 of your time, like Columbia. He changed history, right? He changed the life that onward. I mean, in his time. So, but that change is not just one man did something, right? It's actually a building up through this man accomplished something. This is the biblical way you look at life. Yeah, there are certain men choose by God to do certain things and totally change certain dynamic of human life. But that man is not a man of his own. Am I? Come from nowhere. These things that have no context. Am I? So making sense to you? So sorry. Is that making sense to you? Yeah, so okay.
And then after that, you were talking about how diamonds are.
What? Okay, that's a parable to use that.
Yeah, like
good.
And then how I just wrote down a couple of things about people throughout history, and we talked about some of the oceans and the waters, and
different continents. Basically,
yeah.
the insurance. The insurance is really shabby, but to tell you continents. So, it
there's a
is.
nice poem about the.
That's always shining. So nothing else shining. So yeah. Well, let's wrap it up. Good to spend time with you. Now, you guys enjoy this lesson?
I do.
Yeah,
Good. We're going to
I
do
think it's good.
Yeah, good.